Hello, friends. Today for religion, we're going to read a little bit from our religion textbook. Oops, I left the sticky note on there. Growing in faith, growing in Christ. And you can see some of these stories online, but some people have a hard time seeing them because you need a special flash player. So we're just going to read it together from the storybook. And this is about God's promise to Abraham, because this week we're talking about God's promises. Abraham and Sarah wanted to have a family. Many years passed and they did not have any children. So you can see they're sitting together and they just really want a baby. God promised Abraham that he would bless him with a son if Abraham did everything that God asked him to do. God told Abraham he would have as many children as they were stars in the sky. What do you notice though about Abraham? What's the color of his hair? Is he young or is he an old man? Yeah, he's an old man. Do old men usually have babies? They're usually grandpas by then. They don't have babies. Wonder what'll happen. God told Abraham and Sarah to leave their home. Abraham and Sarah did what God wanted. They moved to Canaan and waited to have a son. So he's holding up his side of the bargain with God. He's saying, I'll do what you tell me. It took a long, long time, but Abraham trusted God. But there was probably sometimes that he was thinking, oh my goodness, it's taking so long. We're old now. But even though Abraham and Sarah were very, very old, Sarah had a baby boy. Look, she's saying, what should we name him? Abraham and Sarah named their son Isaac. When Isaac grew up, he got married and had a family of his own. Isaac's children grew up and they all had families too. Their children also had families. So now look, here's Abraham and he has all these kids and grandkids. His family is so big. God kept his promise to Abraham. So even though there was times that Abraham probably thought, "Ooh, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm getting very, very old." God kept his promise and Abraham trusted him and listened to God. So we're going to read now about Mary's promise. So this is a little friend and we'll see what happens to them. So this is now not a Bible story. This is about a little girl in her house. Mary and Mason were eating breakfast. "Mary, will you play with me?" asked Mason. "I will play with you later," said Mary. "I promise." She made a promise. Do you think she's going to keep her promise like God kept his promise? Let's read to find out. "Mary, will you play with me now?" asked Mason. "I will play with you later," said Mary. "I promise." Look, she said, "I promise." Do you think he feels a little bit like Abraham? Do you think he's feeling a little bit like Abraham, waiting and waiting? She said she promised, though. Look, she's still busy. Still busy. "Here I am, Mason," said Mary. "I will play with you now." Mason smiled. "You kept your promise. Thank you, Mary." See? She kept telling him. Sometimes that happens, especially with moms and dads at home. Sometimes I think they say, "Just wait later. I promise. I promise we'll go to the store later." And sometimes it feels like we have to wait and wait, but we need to trust that people keep their promises. And it's important for us to keep our promises too. See, there's a little friend on here saying, "I wonder, why is it important to keep my promises?" What do you think? Why is it important to keep promises? Yeah, it's kind of important to keep promises because God keeps his promises to us, and we just always want to try to be like God and do the right thing. So, my friends, if you make a promise to your family today, make sure that you keep that promise.